Tonight on NewsVision, with Election Day only 5 days away, tensions are rising on campus between political parties.
It's very frightening to me and many other Republicans on campus to see that we have this level of intolerance.
The clash over a defaced election sign and how the university is responding. Plus, COVID-19 has hit all sectors of the economy, including the happiest place on earth.
As far as the world and Disney, I don't think we'll see any more changes until there's a vaccine for Corona.
We'll tell you how Disney has handled the pandemic and what the future is for its employees. And later on, one athlete is trying to make a difference for kids during the holiday season. How the senior is going out of her way to give kids a Christmas to remember. These stories and many more on tonight's show. NewsVision starts right now. Hello and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Liam Fabre.
And I'm Maya Broadwater. Thank you for joining us. Election night is in 5 days, and President Donald Trump and Democratic nominee Joe Biden are making their final pushes here in Florida.
But first, Election Day tempers are flaring on campus with social media posts and vandalism. UMTV reporter Julia Hecht is live at the UC Breezeway with details from the tumultuous week. Julia, what happened?
Well, guys, it was quite the scene over here on Monday afternoon when the University of Miami College Republicans put up a Trump 2020 banner, only for it to be defaced hours later. Now, that banner no longer stands, but you can see behind me a new banner that was put up on Tuesday morning. And I was here on Monday when the original banner was vandalized.
I saw that on,
The center of campus has become the center of controversy.
The University of Miami College Republicans several months ago went through the process that the Student Center complex has for reserving space to put up banners.
But students watched in awe on Monday afternoon as one student painted a picture worth 1,000 words. The unidentified artist has led many students to wonder how a political advertisement is allowed to be displayed on campus. The University of Miami Student Center complex says it comes down to 3 main policies. The banner must include the organization's name and a meeting date and time, and the content of the banner cannot be obscene.
A political sign, like they did, that just lists out the names of the candidates, that falls within freedom of expression.
There'll be some students who will understandably find anything supporting Donald Trump to be heresy and upsetting and offensive. But there'll be some students on the other side of that political equation as well.
And that other side was not happy.
It's very frightening to me and many other Republicans on campus to see that we have this level of intolerance.
The same artist had placed a sign on top of the banner earlier in the day that read, quote, "White supremacists, get off my campus." The student has since been contacted by UMPD and the Coral Gables Police Department. UMPD declined to comment. President Julia Frank sent an email to the University of Miami community on Tuesday morning, condemning the students' actions by calling it an unacceptable act of disrespect.
The First Amendment does not protect vandalism. It does protect counter speech. And even when it's counter speech that people find offensive, that's also protected.
The University of Miami Young and College Democrats responded by putting up a banner on Wednesday promoting their club, meeting times, and of course, Joe Biden. But the college Republicans aren't done yet.
And on Monday, we have reserved the foot green, and we will be placing between 200 and 300 Trump yard signs throughout the foot green, and we will be having an event on the foot green.
The sign that the University of Miami College Democrats put up sits right next to the new one that the College Republicans put up. Coral Gables Police Department has yet to release the police records from Monday, but one member of UM's College Republicans told me that the student who defaced the original sign has been identified. We will bring you more details as we receive them, but for now, reporting live from the Breezeway for UMTV, I'm Julia Hecht.
Thank you, Julia. We will certainly keep an eye on any further developments in this story. But now a final push to gain voter support. President Trump and former Vice President Biden are campaigning in Florida. And recent polling data shows that it's a close race between the two candidates. Trump and Biden held events in Tampa today. Trump had a classic rally with no social distancing, while Biden supporters drove up in their cars to hear from the candidate. And the candidates did not avoid to talk about the coronavirus pandemic.
I'm not going to shut down the economy. I'm not going to shut down the country, but I'm going to shut down the virus.
We're never going to lock down again. We locked down, we understood the disease, and now we're open for business, and that's what it is.
Campaigning will then shift north just days before the election. Former President Obama will join Biden in Michigan while Trump heads to Pennsylvania this weekend.
With the election only 5 days away, national polling is becoming even more relevant. Our political analyst Jesse Locke joins us from the Interactive Media Center to break down the latest numbers. Jesse?
Thanks, Maya. As of yesterday, national polls have one candidate showing a clear lead over the other. Let's take a look at the numbers. According to a CNN poll, Biden leads Trump by 10 points. And while it looks like this will lead to a clear victory for Biden, we might not be able to confirm this until up to a week after the election. This is because of an unprecedented number of mail-in ballots during this election. And in some states, these ballots can be counted up to a week after the election as long as they're postmarked before November 3rd. But extending this deadline past November 3rd has led to an uphill battle in many states. Just yesterday, the Supreme Court voted to not allow mail-in ballots in Wisconsin to be counted until after Election Day. But earlier, the Supreme Court voted to extend the mail-in voting deadline in Pennsylvania. This leaves many people wondering, what's the difference? Chief Justice Roberts said that he wants state courts to be able to decide their own election rules, especially this close to the election. And in the case of Pennsylvania, the state's highest court is the one who decided to extend mail-in voting deadline. So the Supreme Court upheld the state's decision. But for Wisconsin, a federal court decided to allow votes to be counted past the election. So in this case, because a federal court blocked a state law, the Supreme Court sided with the state and decided to not allow mail-in ballots to be counted after the election. Chief Justice Roberts says this decision is representative of the idea that state courts and lawmaking bodies should have the final say when it comes to their own election rules. And our reporter Macia Leyva got the chance to sit down with Cuban voters in Miami-Dade to see who they casted their ballots for.
With the 2020 presidential elections less than 1 month away, Florida residents get ready to vote. But one specific demographic makes up for the largest share of voters in the Sunshine State. According to Pew Research Center, Florida has 5.7 million Latinos, the third highest total in the country. Cubans make up the largest share of Latino vote in Miami-Dade County. They tend to vote Republican since they associate the Democratic Party with communism.
Todos deberíamos votar a favor de Donald Trump. Pues Donald Trump es el presidente que va a levantar la economía de este país, que va a hacer más próspero este país, que va a levantar la democracia y que aunque no tenga que hacerlo, aunque no sea su deber, Donald Trump va a eliminar el comunismo en América Latina, va a eliminar la miseria, el hambre.
For some of them, voting for the first time in the United States gives them the voice they never had back in Cuba.
En mi país nunca pudimos votar porque nosotros queríamos. Siempre era por una sola persona los que ellos eligieran. Y aquí en este país tú puedes votar por quien tú quieres. Por tanto y demás, hay que votar por Trump.
Historically, Cubans have backed the Republican Party as they fled their country fearing communism. But now, things have changed.
I think it's just important everyone votes. I do believe that one of the best things about this country is that we have the right to do that. My family left Cuba because that a lot of their freedoms are being taken away. Their freedom of speech, like their freedom to have their livelihoods were taken away during the revolution.
If you look at specifically at the Cuban younger voter, they tend to be more liberal than their parents and certainly more liberal than their grandparents. Will they make a difference this time around? You have approximately 60% of Cuban Americans say that they will vote Republican.
Although it's not clear-cut which candidate Cubans will support in November, it's crucial that we all go out and vote. Reporting for UMTV, I am Macia Leyva.
With the deadline for early voting in Florida just days away, voters are scrambling to get to the polls.
I think early voting helps because it's more structured. I feel more safe going in early voting since I don't have to be exposed to many people. And just overall makes the experience easier for me since I'm new to voting.
Early voting in Florida is open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. until November 1st. But don't forget that UM is offering students free transportation to the polls every 30 minutes from the Stanford Circle. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Jesse Locke. Back to the studio.
Thank you, Jesse. Mark your calendars and tune in to UMTV on Election Day for our live 1-hour special show. That would be on Tuesday night from 8 to 9 p.m. right here in Studio B. Now to weather, another deadly hurricane has struck the U.S. At least 2 people have been reported dead after Hurricane Zeta made landfall on Louisiana as a Category 2 storm last night. The center of the storm passed right over New Orleans. Some locations near the Gulf Coast recorded storm surge over 8 feet and wind gusts over 100 miles per hour. Data shows that more than 2.3 million customers are currently without power. The storm is now bringing rain and snow to the northeastern U.S.
And speaking of weather, let's check in now with our weathercaster, Dave Downey, to get the latest on the tropics and the weather here at home. Dave, how's it looking this weekend? Are we still going to get good weather for Halloween?
Yeah, Liam, it's looking pretty good. Chances are going to uptick just a little bit this week then compared to this week. It was a beautiful week out there this week. But here are the headlines. Post-tropical storm Zeta, like Maya just discussed, it was the strongest latest season hurricane to make landfall since 1899 with 110-mile-per-hour sustained winds. You've got your Halloween forecast too. And yes, a cool down is finally coming next week to start our November. Clouds rain out here, just a couple showers out here across the Everglades, nothing here in the Metroplex, Miami, and Fort Lauderdale. Different story, of course, up in the Northeast, like Maya just mentioned. Look at all this shield of rain that passed through the mid-Atlantic states earlier today, quickly moved its way through New York, and will move off the coast. Again, this is the 6th hurricane to make landfall this year. That ties the record with 2 other years, and it's the 11th named storm to make a landfall this year. That beats the record of 9 set back in 1916 by 2, obviously. Area to watch here. Now look at this. 60% chance of formation. Hurricane season is not over at all. It goes until November 30th. Look at this. 60% chance of formation in the next 5 days, 20% in the next 2 days. A lot of these long-range models had this system kind of crashing into the Central American coast. We'll keep an eye on that one heading into next week. Futurecast, we got 2 cold fronts to watch here. That will bring the cool down that we've been finally waiting for. Here comes front number 1 tomorrow morning. Here's 6 a.m. A couple lines of showers will be possible throughout the majority of the day. Then we'll stop it here. Here's 4 o'clock. A couple scattered showers are possible here across South Florida. Nothing widespread. Tomorrow will not be a washout at all. It will be cloudy, or maybe a little bit more rainy than today. That front will move off to into the Straits of Florida between us and Cuba and dissipate. Maybe the Keys will see a couple showers heading into the day on Saturday. But again, that will not be the main story. Again, here comes the cool down. Let's take a look now. Here's the precipitable water graphic. This is basically a measure of how much moisture is in the atmosphere. Blue is low values, and then orange and reds, those are the really hot and humid air masses. Again, look at this off to the north. Here comes a big cold front here. Sunday afternoon into Monday as high pressure builds into the eastern half of the country. Look at this. Blues, yellows, and oranges, those have all pushed off to the south, leaving us beautiful and dry weather next week. Tuesday and Wednesdays will be the nicest days since late April. Tonight's forecast, mid-70s, we'll call it 76 with a few clouds, still muggy. You know, a passing shower or 2 cannot be completely ruled out, just like we saw in the model heading into the overnight hours tonight. Halloween forecast, if you're staying here and traveling down to the Keys, mid-80s, maybe upper 80s tomorrow, mid-70s for lows. Again, lingering chances throughout all 3 days as that front pulls through on Saturday. 70 forecast. Now look at this, front 1 and front number 2. Don't forget to set those clocks back Saturday night into Sunday. We're falling back there Saturday and Sunday, but then look at that. 79 for a high on Tuesday and 69 for a low Tuesday morning. Liam?
Thank you, Dave. And coming up on NewsVision, why some believe Florida is underreporting its COVID numbers as cases among school children rise. Plus, we'll tell you which campus fraternities have been punished over breaking COVID regulations. These stories and a lot more after a short break. Stay with us.
Getting closer to nature can get you closer to your family. Go to discovertheforest.org.
In a grim turn of events, COVID-19 cases have spiked all over the country, prompting CDC Director Anthony Fauci to predict, quote, a whole lot of pain. Yesterday, the CDC reported 75,000 confirmed cases in just one day. That's 15,000 more people than were reported last weekend. There are now over 9 million people who have tested positive in the United States. Experts say we can regain control of the virus, but it requires everyone to do their part.
I'm quite concerned as we see this explosive increase in cases because it's going to be followed by more hospitalizations as it already has, and then inevitably more deaths.
Deaths from coronavirus have more than doubled, rising from 400 on Monday to over 1,000 yesterday.
Florida has almost 800,000 COVID cases, but critics say the Sunshine State may be underreporting cases among school-aged children. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis pressured school districts to reopen for in-person learning at the beginning of October. But since opening, state data has shown a 56% increase in COVID cases in school-aged children. At least 50% of districts in Florida say they do not require students who have been exposed to COVID to submit a negative test before returning to school.
If you do not test the close contacts of the individuals that tested positive in the school, you are missing cases, you are underreporting.
Broward is the only one requiring quarantined students who show symptoms to present a negative test before returning to face-to-face learning.
UM is partaking in a study for a new testing method to detect COVID-19. The technique involves a person blowing into a tube to collect droplets that may contain the virus. Doctors say this method is less expensive and results are reported in just minutes. The FDA is currently examining the test to determine whether to approve it.
According to national data, more than 20 million jobs have been lost since the beginning of the pandemic, and tens of thousands of them are people who used to work for Disney. We are joined now by our reporter Sophia Vitello to tell us more on how the happiest place on earth has been affected. Sophia?
Well, guys, since the theme parks reopened in mid-July, a lot has changed for the company. Almost 8,900 part-time union employees of Walt Disney World in Orlando alone will not be returning to their jobs. This number is a part of the 28,000 company-wide layoffs that Disney announced late last month. Walt Disney World's company-wide closure due to COVID-19 took a toll on Disney cast members. But now that all theme parks but Disneyland California have reopened, some employees are returning to work, while tens of thousands of others are being laid off. In April, I sat down with Nancy Grabowski, a Disney cast member who had then been furloughed because of the pandemic. As of July, she is back at work and adjusting to the new changes.
Before, I was more in a sales role where I was scheduling people to go on tour and making commission off of that. But now our role is very different, that we're just somewhat of an ambassador for the Disney Vacation Club.
As for me and as for the thousands of cast members, 28,000 that have been terminated, they got an automated voice message or they got an automated email. It's devastating.
That email has now been publicly shared in a Facebook group. It reads, "It is with tremendous regret that we must inform you that your employment will be separated effective December 14th, 2020. Although at this time we expect these layoffs to be permanent, we hope there will be opportunities for our employees and cast members to return to Disney."
I think there will be a rebound, but I think rebounds generally, from what I've seen in my 30 years here working, lag. I think they're trying to do the best that they possibly can. In hindsight, we'll look back and see that everybody could have probably done a little bit better.
With all reopened theme parks at just 45% capacity and the still underlying threat of COVID-19, Disney might not get completely back to normal for a while.
I don't know that my job will go back to what it used to be, but as far as the world and Disney, I don't think we'll see any more changes until there's a vaccine for Corona.
And as of just 2 days ago, all equity actors of Walt Disney World Orlando who work in entertainment shows have been laid off through email. This excludes actors in the one show that is still left standing, which is Disney's Frozen Musical Spectacular. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Sophia Vitello. Guys?
Thank you, Sophia. And back here on campus, two fraternities, Sigma Chi and Pi Kappa Alpha, also known as Pike, are facing disciplinary action for breaking COVID protocols. According to Senior Associate Dean of Students Stephen Prepke, Sigma Chi is suspended for the rest of the semester, and Pike is on probation. Both were reported earlier this semester for having parties at their on-campus houses. Prepke says further action will be taken if additional rules are broken.
The University of Miami administration has issued a letter addressing students' concerns about having the credit or non-credit choice for the fall semester. This grading alternative was first offered when the school transitioned to fully remote instruction in the spring of 2020. But the provost says it will not look good on students' academic credentials to have 2 semesters with pass or fail classes. He said the decision might be revisited later in the semester.
With this year's football season looking a lot different for student fans, the university is compensating students with partial refunds. Yesterday, UM VP and Chief Financial Officer Brandon Gillian sent an email to students announcing they would be refunded for a portion of the semester athletic fee. He says students will be given $63 and change back.
According to Forbes, more than 20 human rights organizations are now calling for the University of Miami to ban facial recognition technology. Some students have accused the university of using facial recognition technology to identify attendees of a campus protest last month. Campus police have since identified the use of this technology in this manner, but activists are now calling for UM to join the 60-plus universities who have already committed to a ban.
We'll take a short break now, but when NewsVision returns, we have the latest updates on UM sports.
I'm Liam Fabray, anchor of NewsVision. Here's how we stay safe here at UMTV with COVID-19. When entering the studio, always make sure to sanitize your hands. Don't forget to rub it in. Next, wipe down any surface you plan on touching. I gotta write the show, so I'm gonna wipe my keyboard down. And now we're ready for the show. Remember, this is the only time we get to take off that mask. Hey Julia, we ready up there?
Ready, camera 2, and take it.
Good evening and welcome to NewsVision. I'm Liam Fabray.
Welcome to sports. I'm Maxwell Trink. The Miami Hurricanes have been so dominant on the gridiron against ACC opponents this year. Well, they kept it up again this week against Virginia. Let's check out how that went down. Miami taking on the Cavs, who really struggled so far this season. Within the first couple of minutes, De'Aaron King finds Mike Harley deep for 50 yards. Touchdown for him, 7-0 Canes. It was really Mike Harley's night at the end of the day. Check this corner route by the senior receiver, Harley, with 170 yards on the receiving end that night. And let's cap off highlights with some love for the freshman, Don Chaney Jr., getting the score here, breaking through into the end zone. He's hyped up. Canes cruise past Virginia to improve to 5-1 on the year. Miami Hurricanes still ranked within the top 15 in the country, according to the AP poll. Here's what head coach Manny Diaz had to say after the game.
Just the fact to be able to be at the end of the night and to be in that winning locker room and to see the kids' faces and see how proud they are of their effort and really accomplishing being 5-1. It's been a minute since we've been here, so I'm really proud of our guys and now we get a chance to regroup, hopefully get some guys back, heal up for a difficult stretch run.
Well, football does have a bye this week. You know who doesn't? UM Soccer. They're playing tonight at Cobb Stadium, and our reporter Caroline McDonald is live at the game. Caroline, what's going on?
Thanks, Max. I'm here right now inside Cobb Stadium where Canes soccer is taking on Syracuse. The Canes haven't had the season they wanted to this fall, but one individual player has really stood out. Emma Tucker's soccer career has been devoted to offense her whole life. Only playing forward or middle field, she committed to the University of Miami as a sophomore in high school. It came as a surprise when Coach Barnes approached her this past summer with the idea of doing the near impossible, switching to defense.
Really never played that position before, and the thought of it kind of scares me almost. But I was willing to do it and try it out. So when she brought me into her office and kind of brought it up, I was like, okay, I think it's time and I'm really excited and I'll hop in whenever.
It was time for Tucker to learn to be an outside back. It's not often a player is asked to switch sides of the field, but Tucker's exceptional athleticism and aggression made it clear to Coach Barnes she could handle the job.
I've really been impressed by how she's embraced it and how she's approached it. And I would say, any frustration she has is only in that she wants to be good and she wants the team to be successful. And so she wants to learn faster than, maybe what's possible when you're learning something new.
Tucker had to learn the ins and outs of the Canes defense much quicker than your average soccer player would, but it all paid off when Tucker received her first start of her college career.
It was amazing. I was out there and I heard my name and I started smiling.
Good step defensively by Emma Tucker.
It was so relieving and I felt so proud because all the hard work finally is paying off.
Since then, Tucker does not come off the field, being a huge asset for the Hurricanes on defense. And more than just getting minutes and playing time, she is known as a leader on the team.
You don't, again, like I said, you don't see a lot of players switch positions and then grow even more into a leadership role. I think that is less about a new position and more about her desire to win.
I feel like I am taking a little bit more of a leadership role and being more vocal.
Tucker and Coach Barnes are excited to see what she can do as she takes on the new position for the rest of her career. Number 26 is ready to face all adversity handed to her.
The Canes have yet to win a game this season, but they're hoping to grab their first win tonight. Right now, there is no score with 25 minutes left to go in the game. Reporting for UMTV, I'm Caroline McDonald.
Thank you, Caroline. And still to come on NewsVision,
we'll show you how you can celebrate Halloween safely, and we'll introduce you to the UM athlete who is ensuring that kids have a good Christmas. Don't go away.
This is so cool, Dad. Awesome. This is so cool, Dad.
You don't have to be perfect to be a perfect parent. There are thousands of siblings in foster care who'll take you just as you are.
thank you for staying with us. The Fellowship of Christian Athletes at UM is helping kids in need this holiday season. UMTV reporter Blake Atwell tells us more about Operation Christmas Child.
Zakiya Rashid has been competing with the UM track and field program for over 4 years. But some of her best memories as a Hurricane have come off the track.
I'm so happy. Literally, I'm so excited when I get to go to the store and pick out like whatever toys that I can find.
What brings so much joy to Rashid and millions of other children around the world is a project called Operation Christmas Child. Under the relief organization Samaritan's Purse, Operation Christmas Child makes, collects, and ships shoe boxes to kids in need. UM's Fellowship of Christian Athletes and Student Athlete Advisory Committee partnered during the fall semester to bring OCC to MIA.
I think it's what University of Miami is all about.
Pastor Mike Blanc is the director of FCA. The organization brought Operation Christmas Child to UM 3 years ago. Miami has shipped over 1,000 boxes since.
For us, how we measure success is just to see the University of Miami family get excited about this another year and get involved with it. And to see that already going on with people that are not even physically in Miami, it speaks about, I think, just the connectivity of what we have here at the U.
George Brown Jr. played football for the Hurricanes and graduated from UM in 2019. He continues to leave his mark as an alum, donating more than 100 boxes this year.
To me, it means just, being able to help out, because some people aren't fortunate enough to have a Christmas. They might not, get the presents or toys they need, or maybe even get the things for school that they need. So it's a big thing for me.
This year's Operation Christmas Child began in August. The goal was set for 150 shoe boxes. In the 2 months since, FCA says UM is on track to hit 421 boxes, nearly tripling their goal.
Whatever we're able to collect this year is going to be a major blessing for any little boy or any little girl that receive these boxes.
Reporting for UMTV, I'm Blake Atwell.
Halloween is just a couple of days away, but you still have time to celebrate despite COVID restrictions. One local company has set up a safe and family-friendly way to mark the spooky season. They call it the Not So Spooky Drive-Thru Adventure. The event is a way for kids and families to enjoy trick-or-treating, pumpkin patches, and the Halloween spirit, all from the safety of their car.
Given the situation, we wanted to bring something to the community, where kids can come together and families could get out of their houses in a safe way.
You can find the Drive-Thru Adventure at Miami Park until November 1st.
I don't know if I could do that. That sounds a little bit too spooky for me.
Oh yeah, well Halloween has always been my favorite holiday, so I'm just really happy.
You're gonna go anywhere. You're tougher than I am.
Oh yeah, but I'm just really happy that children and families can still, celebrate the holiday. Well, that's all the time that we have for tonight. Thank you for joining us.
And we'll be back next week with another edition of NewsVision, but for now, enjoy some photos of the dogs of NewsVision getting in the Halloween spirit. Have a great night.